Representative Craig Johnson. Representative Rob Johnson. Representative Meyer. Representative Moore. Representative Turek.
Here.
Representative Weldon. Here. Representative Woburn.
Here.
Representative Wills.
Here.
Representative Wood.
Okay. Is there any corrections to last week's minutes that were sent out electronically? Seeing none, the minutes stand approved. Assignment of bills, House Study Bill 650, Chair C. Johnson. Wood, Baith. House Study Bill 653, Ingalls Chair, Gelbach, Ellert. House Study Bill 654, Bergen Chair, Wills, Baith. House File 2220, A. Meyer, Chair, C. Johnson, R. Johnson. House File 2262, Harris, Chair, A. Meyer, Brown, Powers. Consideration of bills. The chair recognizes Representative Andrews for opening comments on Senate File 304.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate File 304 is a bill regarding parental consent for minor vaccines, specifically for HPV. It removes one of the very few exemptions for minor consent. That's the bill.
There is an amendment. The chair recognizes Representative Baith for opening comments on Amendment 2321.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The bill at hand unamended is going to increase cancer rates in Iowa. We know that Iowa has one of the highest, if not the highest, rate of head and neck cancers in the nation. We know that well over 90% of head and neck cancers are caused by HPV. We know that HPV vaccination reduces head and neck cancers by over 90%, along with cervical cancer, vulvar cancer. Every single thing that we do that creates another barrier of preventing our kids, our young Iowans, from getting cancer-preventing treatment is going to reduce the vaccination rate and it's going to increase the cancer rate. This bill is distrusting of a 16-year-old or 17-year-old who is too embarrassed to talk to their parents about sex, who is not getting, I guess, parental consent to have sex, who cannot protect themselves. This is going to lead to more cancer cases in Iowa. I am sure of it, and the data backs that up. So in order to try to counteract the increased cancer this bill is going to cause, due to its second guessing that a child does not have the ability, or a young adult does not have the ability to consent for themselves, I'm offering an amendment to help counteract that by preventing children from consenting for themselves to be in a tanning bed, which we know causes cancer. So I would suggest that if you feel that a child, or let's say a 16-year-old, does not have the capacity to consent to preventing cancer, they shouldn't have the capacity to consent to causing their own cancer by going in a UV tanning bed. That is the bill. I'm open for questions.
Any discussion? The chair recognizes Representative Andrews.
Thank you, Representative Baith. I think all of us are concerned, just as you are, about cancer. I don't think there's any person on this committee, or for that matter, anybody in this room, who is not concerned about cancer. I would just like to say two quick things. One, on the data, there are certain cases, especially with people with melanin in our skin, where certain tanning beds, a certain amount actually reduces cancer. I think you know that. But regarding to this bill, I would ask that my colleagues not accept this bill. The Senate has, this amendment. The Senate is working on a similar bill. There's a subcommittee tomorrow to address the same issue. And for the sake of clarity and efficiency, I just ask my body to reject this amendment and let the Senate send that over to us.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, the chair recognizes Representative Baith for closing comments on Amendment 2321.
With all due respect, Representative, there is no safe indoor tanning when it's UV tanning. Does not do anything but increase cancer rates in people of every single skin color. I ask folks that we take a second, really look at the big picture of what bills like this are doing. And it is sowing uncertainty and fear of vaccines, and right now in particular, vaccines that prevent cancer. I'll move it.
The Representative Bates moves Amendment 2321. Short record roll call vote has been requested. The clerk will call the roll.
Representative Harris, Representative Barker, Representative Wessel Crochell,
Yes.
Representative Andrews, Representative Bates, Representative Bergen, Representative Bradley,
No.
Representative Brown Powers, Representative Ellert, Representative Galbach, Representative Ingalls, Representative Chenery, Representative Craig Johnson, Representative Representative Meyer, Representative Moore, Representative Turek,
Yes.
Representative Weldon, Representative Wilbur,
Yes.
Representative Wills,
No.
Representative Wood. 14 yeas, 6 nays.
I believe it's 14 nays, 6 ayes. With that, the amendment has failed. We're back on discussion for Senate File 304, and the chair recognizes Representative Wessel Crochell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. These bills keep coming forward and cancer keeps running wild in our state. Vaccines are so safe and cancer is so dangerous. We can't put barriers in the way of stopping it. I had the opportunity just this weekend to engage with my local pediatrician. And he asked me about bills that were coming up related to his profession. And I told him about this. He said when the HPV vaccine first started coming out, they were slowly but surely implementing it into their cycle of vaccines. And they got notices, they got calls and emails from the ear, nose, and throat doctors begging them to up the ante, to start doing it immediately, that they needed to give this vaccine. They were desperate because the ear, nose, and throat doctors were constantly removing cancerous growths. We have the opportunity to keep this going. We have the opportunity to keep the reduction. And we're going to lose it? We're number 1 in cancer growth, and we're going to put a barrier in? I'm a hard no, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, the chair recognizes Representative Andrews for closing comments on Senate File 304.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to add one comment to what was already said, sometimes these are not just 16-year-olds. They do start at 9 to 12 years old. And so with that comment, I would just move the bill.
Representative Andrews moves Senate File 304. The clerk will call the roll.
Representative Harris,
Aye.
Representative Barker, Representative Wessel Crochell, Representative Andrews, Representative Bates, Representative Bergen, Representative Bradley, Representative Brown Powers, Representative Ellert, Representative Galbach, Representative Ingalls, Representative Chenery, Representative Craig Johnson, Representative Meyer, Representative Moore, Representative Turek, Representative Weldon, Representative Wilburn,
No.
Representative Wills, Representative Wood.
With a vote,
14 yeas, 6 nays.
With a vote of 14-6 and a file 304, we'll move to the floor as a committee bill. The chair recognizes Representative Andrews for opening comments on House Study Bill 605.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Study Bill 605 is just an act related to requirements of immunization exemption, notifications by public health agencies. Those are my opening comments.
Is there discussion? See Representative Bates. The chair recognizes Representative Bates.
I'm sorry, I'm trying my best to be quiet here. By doing the bidding of the anti-vax community, this Health and Human Services Committee has done more to unravel public health protections than I could have ever imagined. My suggestion for this bill is, in addition to providing ways that people can exempt their children from vaccination, that we also provide information of what the various diseases that the vaccines could prevent, provide information of what measles, mumps, rubella looks like, tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, polio, meningitis, pneumonia. Let those people know what those diseases look like, and let those people know what it looked like dozens of years ago before we had those vaccines, when kids were dying when they were 2 and 3 and 4. Do we want to go back to those good old days? That's what this is happening. That's what this is doing. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, the chair recognizes Representative Andrews for closing comments on House Study Bill 605.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to be clear, this is a follow-up to a bill that was done last year to correct the false information that was provided to many of the schools that said there were no exemptions. Last year, we all voted so that the information would be correct. This is just adding that same information to the Department of Public Health. And with that, Mr. Chair, I move the bill.
Representative Andrews moves House Study Bill 605. The clerk will call the roll.
Representative Harris.
Aye.
Representative Parker. Representative Wessel Crochelle. Representative Andrews.
Aye.
Representative Bates. Representative Bergen. Representative Bradley. Representative Brown Powers. Representative Ellert. Representative Gelbach. Representative Engels. Representative Jennery. Representative Craig Johnson. Representative Meyer. Representative Moore. Representative Turek. Representative Weldon. Representative Wilburn.
No.
Representative Wells.
Aye.
Representative Wood.
On a vote 14-6, House Study Bill 605 will move to the House floor as a committee bill. The chair now recognizes Representative Bergen for House File 708.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There is an amendment.
There is an amendment. The chair recognizes Representative Bergen for Amendment 2293.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a strike after amendment and will replace the initially filed bill. We've had the opportunity to work with the Iowa Hospice Association as well as other stakeholders, including Bar Association, our judiciary, and others that have an interest. We do have existing law to deal with when people haven't planned ahead. Similarly to not having a will, we have rules and code that dictate how an estate will be distributed among heirs. And in this case, it's what do we do when we don't have health care of powers of attorney, do not resuscitate orders, other intentions by an individual. And so while we do have some existing law, this bill will update that law. It updates some of the modernizes definitions around hospice, and that it recognizes inclusion of our expanded healthcare workforce with ARNPs and PAs being involved in decision-making processes, and specifically addresses an issue where guardianships is in place. When a guardian is put in place of an individual, there's a process that has to go through a court order process, which can take days, even up to a couple of weeks, that might be adverse to the individual itself. And so with this, we've worked through to up these definitions and backup processes.
Is there any discussion on the amendment? The chair recognizes Representative Brown Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the bar, the judicial system, and Aaron from the Iowa Hospice Association and the Iowa Catholic Conference. We had a good, robust subcommittee where this bill has been in the making and we've been working on for quite some time. And we've gotten to a point now where everybody is on a good page. It's been well defined. All parties have been listened to. And at the end of the day, this will limit suffering from Iowans who are into death and for those family members going through the judicial system. So this is a good bill moving forward. I will speak just on the strike after since it is now the bill. Thank you very much.
Is there any other discussion? Chair recognizes Representative Bergen for closing comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will say that we, even with this strike after amendment, we did notice a couple technical corrections, which we'll probably just address at the floor and would like to move this forward for the committee. And with it, I move the amendment.
Representative Bergen moves amendment 2293 short form. All those will say aye. All opposed say nay. The amendment is passed. We're back on House File 708 as amended. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the chair recognizes Representative Bergen. Representative Bergen moves House File 708 as amended, and the clerk will call the roll.
Representative Harris,
Aye.
Representative Barker,
Aye.
Representative Wessel Crochell,
Aye.
Representative Andrews, Representative Bath, Representative Bergen, Representative Bradley, Representative Brown Powers, Representative Eller, Representative Galbach, Representative Ingalls, Representative Jennery, Representative Craig Johnson, Representative Meyer, Representative Moore, Representative Turek, Representative Weldon, Representative Wilburn,
Aye.
Representative Wells, Representative Wood.
With a vote 20-0, House File 708 will move to the floor as a committee bill. Is there any other business to come before the body? Seeing none, Representative Moore moves we arise.